Hi, welcome to Problem Solving. This is just an overview to video number 9, which is about effective communication through message. When we are communicating, as important is the content of the message as the way we are communicating. Well, in this video, I am talking about the 6 components that should be taken into account when communicating to make sure that we are having an effective communication. Actually, I express those through a formula, which is message. E is the effectiveness, and keep in mind that an effective communication is achieve the construction of common meanings. Each of the components are expressed as a multiplication, because if one or more of those are 0, it doesn't matter what multiplies to 0, you are going to get 0 effectiveness on communicating. Those components are mean that you are using to communicate. You can use visual means, hearing means, kinesthetic means, digital means. Which is the best mean to communicate? Well, it depends on the dominant style of the receiver. The second component is the extension of the sentences. When we are processing information, we are not processing word by word, but we are processing sentences. Then sentences should be short, because if you use very long sentences, it will be more difficult for the brain to process the information. The third component is the structure of the message. You should not generalize information, you should not omit information, because you want to prevent assumption and distortion from the receiver about your message. Also, make sure that you are using a language that is understandable for the receiver. The next component is the situation under the one the communication happens. It should be friendly, it should be comfortable. If the communication happens in a noisy place, in a dark place, in a threatening place, in a hot, cold place, etc., then there will be distractors and the effectiveness of the communication will be diminished. The next component will be the abundance of your message. Your message is competing against many other messages. Then the receiver can forget your message very easily. That's why you have to make sure to repeat the message in several times using several ways. Well, in fact, I recommend 6 times to make sure that the receiver gets the information and sticks the information in the mind. The next component is the gains. What's in it for me? That's in the mind of the receiver. Why should I pay attention to this message? What am I going to gain if I pay attention, or what am I going to lose if I'm not paying attention to the message? Then you have to connect your message with something of interest for the receiver. Finally, you have to make sure that you have been effective. And that's why you should look for feedback. You have to make sure that the receiver has obtained the common meanings and have understood what you wanted them to get. Well, if you want to get more information, exercises, examples, more detail about each of these components, please click on the URL that I am expressing here, and also it's in the top corner on YouTube video. Well, that's all for today, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next time.
Hey, if you want to be a communicator, you must use the speech elevator. If your work team is using coding, then success they will be provoking. Try to maximize the involvement, then you will get a big commitment. Strategy is much communication, benefits must be in notation. Ensure the effectiveness of the message. Means and situation are a presage of sentences, watch language and dimension. Abundance and justification drives retention. Hearing kinesthetic, digital or visual, which mean is the most irresistible. All might be good, it depends on the receiver. Remember, transmitter and receiver filter. Human brain processes sentences of short length are the preferences. Simple language prevents frustration. No omissions, distortions, generalization. Your message competes against many more, then repeat it 6 times. You should look for connected with something of interest, otherwise receiver will be indifferent. Communication effectiveness must validate. In the search for feedback you should navigate, getting a clear, concrete and redundant message. In success rate you will get a great percentage.
Apotheosis. I dream of a world that worries less and takes care of the problems that make us scared. Apotheosis. To stop being a victim of emotions and circumstances, to not be scared of taking chances. Apotheosis. To take control of our lives and build a better future for ourselves and the people who surround us. Apotheosis.